Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
Today we're talking about gumption. Have you ever wondered what gumption is? You know, my mother used to say, "Oh, Leanne, you have so much gumption," as if that was like, a bad thing. I used to also get in trouble for speaking too much in class. Leanne talks too much, S-. And I remember when I had my talk radio show in Los Angeles, and I actually got a paycheck for showing up and having a talk radio show every day, Monday through Friday. And so I remember I dedicated my first show to my French teacher, Miss Platzik, in Whittier, California, and said, "Miss Platzik, you might have given me an S-, but I'll tell you what, that talking too much paid off." Anyway, gumption is what I think a lot of us have and maybe haven't even begun to appreciate. And I believe a wise woman relies on a little bit of gumption. It gets you through a lot of sticky wickets. There's another one, right? Sticky wicket. It means guts. It means spunk. I think it means guts on steroids and spunk, abundant spunk. It's resourcefulness is what it is. Gumption, figure outable, things that you can figure out. A wise woman knows everything is always figure outable, because that's what we're talking about, being a wise woman, right? Wise women have got to have resources to pull from. And when you recognize and know that that resource that you have, you already have inside of you, it's just a matter of being present with it, then you can start pulling it out. It also means boldness and initiative and maybe a little slight touch of aggressiveness. I think aggressiveness sometimes is a good thing. Maybe more, I don't know, but maybe there's a better word for it. But not afraid to speak up, for heaven's sakes. When you neglect to speak up in your own life, you are giving somebody else power over your life. We have to speak up. We have to say our truth. We have to stand in it. And we also have to not be afraid of it. We so often work our way around things all through our lives. We don't assertiveness. There you go, Patsy. It's a better word, right? Assertiveness. Yeah. But I'll tell you, for men, it's assertive, and for women, it's aggressive, right? Have you noticed that? That women who are, and I had a woman one time tell me, this is a very long time ago in a Bible study, that she used to be a whole lot more, she said, "Oh, you're just so extroverted. You're so extroverted." And we were talking then in the conversation, we were talking about how in high school, we were both cheerleaders and all that. And I said, well, that's usually a side of being an extrovert is being a cheerleader. She said, yeah, I know. But, when I became a Christian, I recognized that was so ungodly. Do you see what she did there? Boom, backhanded compliment right there. You're so extroverted. A lot of that. I can't stand that stuff. Why do we snipe like that at each other? Why do we do that kind of stuff? That's not gumption. That's not assertiveness. That's aggressiveness. That's full on get out of it. Chutzpah is spelled C-H-U-T-Z P-A-H. P-A-H. Yeah, no, I got the spelling right. I got the spelling right, whoever's spelling it. No, it's with the C-H. There you go. Yeah, that was an ouchie, all right, Jen. I'll tell you, I did not appreciate it. I thought that was really pretty nasty. But, sometimes what happens with gumption and chutzpah and all of this is, amen, Patsy, we do need to build each other up. We do need to build each other up. We need to land squarely on chutzpah in the absolute desire so that we show up in our own lives. Chutzpah means that we are going to show up in our lives. It means we have a little extra spunk, a little extra, you know? Right on. There's a big difference between being assertive and being a jerk. Absolutely. And we're not jerks if we're standing up for ourselves, by the way. It's how we do it. And, you know, there's finesse involved. And I think that's what gumption is. There's all kinds of things going on when we're trying to do this. There's intelligence involved. There's common sense involved. And there's great empathy for who it is that you're speaking to or who it is that you need to stand up to. You know, the fact of the matter is that we all at one point or another are going to come across a situation, a person, something that needs to be stood up to. And it's a scary thing, especially if we're not used to doing this kind of thing. This is where we need to reach in and pull out our own gumption, where we need to go for the chutzpah and be the woman that we are meant to be. This is in our DNA. It's not just for a few. It's for all. This is how this whole thing works. Now, some can say that it's having utter nerve. Now, you can think of this whole thing, utter nerve, as in, oh, the utter nerve of her, or she's got utter nerve, as in, I really admire that, right? That kind of a thing. When you have chutzpah, it's almost to the point of arrogance, but not quite. Because chutzpah means that you are confident in yourself and that you're willing to speak up. You're willing to be her. You're willing to do the things that you need to do, that you show the heck up. This is what it is. It's courage. It is courage up leveled. That's what it is. Audacity, even unbelievable gall, the gall of her. You know, you think about all these women who have the fainting spells, you know, come on. You know what the whole thing of it is that women who show up for their lives and have the audacity to speak up for themselves have gumption and chutzpah. And maybe they're a little assertive. And sometimes they're a little bit, shall we say, ticked and get a little aggressive about the whole thing because she's been shut down so often. Now, I'm never going to put up and say, hey, that was a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and be aggressive and be jerks. We don't need to do that. But you know what we do need to do is we need to understand that what is inside of us is there already. And we have the ability to pull it out and to say at any time to anyone, hold up a minute here. And then carefully choose our words so not to mow someone over, but also not to dismiss or to soften the blow of what maybe needs to be said. You know, it's never right to be rude. And I've certainly been rude in my time. You know, I've had a lot of mea culpas over being rude because I have stood up for myself. I have said, no, that's not true. No, I will not. No, you cannot. That's not the way it should be. I will not listen to this. I've done that. I have done that to my own hurt too. Bad choice. And all you can do is when you make a bad choice is go back and clean up your mess, right? That's where apologies come in. That's where seeking forgiveness comes in. But the chutzpah of who you are and standing up for yourself is so integral to a wise woman. You need to own it and you need to respect it because this is part of who we are. And I think so often this is dismissed, and that's not wise. Because then we are not living our own lives. Then we're living for other people's approval, is what I've seen, is what I've known, and what I've read, let me tell you, in my journals. I think I told you last night when we were talking about this that I said, if anything were ever to happen to me, I have instructions on what's going to happen to my journals. But I was reading in my journals from years and years ago about what other people were thinking about and how worried I was about what other people thought. Who am I living for? Them or myself? God. Who's called me? Them or God? That's where we have to get to that place. That is the thing that we need to do. So Jen Sincero calls it going to the spiritual gym. When we exercise our chutzpah. I love that. It is going to the spiritual gym because it's calling you out to be stronger than you think you are. It's calling you out to not only think stronger thoughts, but to say stronger words when needed, as needed, for different things. Like, and I've shared this example with you before from The Office, where Pam, the little receptionist who just went along to get along, is finally starting to figure out she's got to speak up for herself. She goes to the bar, she orders some beers, gets the wrong beers, and what happens, right? She starts walking away with them and just says, oh, well, it's the wrong. And then all of a sudden she just recognizes and realizes, goes back to the bartender and said, hey, these are the wrong beers, expecting that this was going to be a big deal. And he was like, oh, sorry about that, and gave her what did you order? She told him, got them, and she walked back confidently. I know I've spoken about this scene so many times because I think it's so representative of so many people. That's a teensy bits of chutzpah that this character in a TV show had to figure out. That's where we start. We start with saying, not everything's fine, because sometimes everything isn't fine. Sometimes you get a bad haircut and you need to say, I don't like my haircut. You need to say, I don't like what you did with my color this time, or whatever it is. You need to say that because you're not hurting somebody else's feelings. You're paying for a service. You need to speak up and say something. Your meal isn't right in a restaurant. You just don't put up and say, oh, it's okay. You say something. No, this isn't what I ordered. No, I'm not enjoying this. It's cold, or it's overcooked, or I'm not liking it, right? All of these little things are little things, except that they add up to us losing our way. We're just willing to lay down and willing to roll over and willing to say, it's okay, everything's fine, and put on a big phony grin. For who? Who are we trying to please? That stranger who's serving us a meal? Think about it. Think about it. Now, again, we don't have to be jerks about it, but we do need to start standing up for ourselves and saying something when we need to. I want you to start going for the gumption, going for the gumption. So I have created a practice of chutzpah, kind of a list that's going to help you to pump you up and to take you to that place of being able to speak up for yourself. Here's the thing. Subconsciously is where a lot of us live, right? And Bruce Lipton says 95% of us live our lives in the subconscious, and we don't even realize and recognize where it is. And that feeling. I want you to see if you know this feeling. You know this feeling where you ask for something, you don't get it, and you suck it down. And inside you're going, oh, that's not what I want, really. I just don't want it. I don't want it. And out of your mouth says, it's fine. Oh, thanks. Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. Oh, no worries. It's okay. Is it? Is it really? Do you feel the conflict within? That's the thing that finally triggered it for me, where I stopped doing this. And I have to practice this because it's so easy to keep doing this, right? To keep doing this. So I have a couple of things that are going to put you in your power mode, right? Your chutzpah mode, so that you can start doing this. Number one, create a playlist. Now we've got a really, really good playlist that Sarah Preston put together for us. Have you seen it? It's right there in our Hot Melt Sprint group. Check it out. As a matter of fact, Full Bloom playlist. Just put that in the Google thing and listen to it, okay? There's a little search thingy. It looks like a little magnifying glass. And if you put Spotify in there or playlist or something, you will get all of the playlists. She's got a playlist for everything. And there's empowering playlists there that help you to find your gumption. Aretha Franklin, that's a woman. There's some gumption right there. Do you know the song Respect was meant for a man, but she was like, no, I want this song. No, you give that song to me. Now, when you listen to it, it's like when you get home, after I've been working all day long, give me my propers when I get home. You know what that means, right? Give me a little something, something. For a woman at that time, a Black woman at that time, to come on and sing that song, can you imagine? Gumption, guts, chutzpah, big time, big time. It's crazy town. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you are looking at women who have gumption and women who've done things and have braved storms, they're all brave. They're all courageous. They all stood up and they all said, no, do not count me out. Count me in. This is what I want. Very clear about the whole thing. So playlist. That music is going to pump you up. You're going to be pumping your fists. You'll be seeing RESPECT. Let me just tell you, telling you what it means to me. Start with that. A meditative practice, super important. Breath work and tapping. Do you know why? Because all of this brings you back to center so that you can be realizing who your authentic self is. Because your authentic self has the gumption in it already. This is just probably something that you've dismissed for a very long time. So if you understand what I'm talking about, this is what it is. This is exactly what I'm talking about. There's books to read. There's motivational speakers to hear. There's podcasts. There are people out there who have the gumption to stand up, to say something, to be that voice, to not sit down, to not take a seat, right? People like that you admire. I mean, Martin Luther King, look what he did. Look at the march in Selma. Look at all of what was done and how the repercussions of one man making a decision. Now, it was a bunch of people, but he was the leader back in those days. He made a decision and he knew it was probably going to cost him his life. He did it anyway. Gumption, guts, bravery, courage, doing the right thing is oftentimes attached to this, by the way. Affirmations that become mantras. You know, I am statements are just absolutely amazing. I am, my goal, this is what I wrote in my Take Back Your Life journal. My goal became an I am statement that I say every single day and I write every single day. I am an athlete, training daily and joyfully at the table and in the gym. That is gumption. That is gutsy. That's saying, that is giving me an identity, and it's drawing me close to the thing that it is the thing that I want. Vision boards do this. I've shared my vision board with you, what was it, last Monday, and showed you how impactful visions are. And I think we have a lot more gumption, a lot more bravery, and a lot more chutzpah to chase after the vision that we want for our life, to live that vibrant life, because we're on fire for it at that time. Then it becomes a hot desire. Then we emote over it. And that's a good thing. Emotions aren't a bad thing to be dismissed and not listened to. We don't want to live in an emotional turmoil. We want to use our emotions as fodder for the fire to keep us going in the direction we want. End of story. That's how that whole thing works. Connecting to your body, I think, is an important thing. Let me ask you a question. How often have you just dismissed your body, like looked in the mirror and went, oh, and just walked out? Never looking in the mirror appreciatively, never looking at your body as all that it's done for you and how it has supported your life, that it is your vehicle for this life. Have you ever appreciated it? And I'll tell you right now, nobody here in this little part of the world, I don't think, unless I'm completely mistaken, knows what it's like to have a perfect body, right? Or even the most excellent body. We all have bodies that have bumps and bruises and cellulite and veins popping out, wrinkles, stretch marks, name that tune. But what if we had a great appreciation, gratitude even, on a daily basis for our bodies? How much more confidently, how much more chutzpah are we going to carry them with? Think about that. That would be something for you to meditate on. And I say we need to create manifestos for our lives. The Declaration of Independence was a manifesto. We, the people, it was very declarative. It was a decree of what it was going to be about. Remember the whole thing? decide, declare, and decree. There it is. Decide, make a decision. We are not going to be under England's rule. Declare, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing. We're creating this declaration of independence. Decree. There it is, the manifesto. We, the people. It was a break from old rule. We need to make that break from our old rule, because what we do is allow for all this old behavior that no longer serves us to come in and rob us of the vibrancy that we're trying to live through, right? We can't have it if we're not willing to make a decision about it. Period. So if we want that, then it's only up to us to just start looking. The inspiration really is that chutzpah. But that chutzpah is also fed by the hot desire of what you want. And there's emotion attached to that. And all of that is what comes next. Okay? And visualizing yourself 1 year from today. What is your life going to look like? Why don't you start that? Start journaling about that. All of these things are going to help create the vision of what you want for your life, and put right behind it all the chutzpah, all the emoting, all the gumption. That's just energy behind it all. That's declarative. That's a decree of sorts, because it's you standing up for yourself and getting what you want, right? So the power to change anything resides in your ability to analyze everything. This is where we leave our emotion behind the things that we want to do, because the emotion is going to power us through with the hot desire. But we also have to take a look and make an examination, an analysis. What's going on here? And when we can unplug from the emotion for that moment, then we can start analyzing it just, like an analyst, like a real live analyst, and kind of go, looking across that spreadsheet, what do I see here? What's going on? And then I have 2 questions for you to ask yourself. Does this blank, whatever it is, whatever it's going on, does this serve my vibrant vision for my life? And number 2, does this get me off the carousel of crazy? Right? You want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and will you get different results? You know what I hear? I hear that according to Einstein, that's not going to happen. So here's your alignment assignment. All right. You ready to do this? I've got 5 things for you. Okay. Number 1, analyst paralysis. You need to go beyond that. Analyze it, yes, but give yourself a minute to do it. Give yourself a time to do it. Don't say, I'm stuck in the analysis. No, you're not. You can get stuck in the analysis, but be truthful with yourself. That's where your honesty comes from. And if you're used to journaling and asking yourself honest questions and then answering them honestly back, you're going to start, it's going to be a whole lot more on the top instead of having to go to an archaeological dig. So to get beyond that and just create a real plan, this is what you need, And number 2, you can shrink back or you can take back. It's your choice. Shrinking back is what Pam did at the bar. Taking back was when she decided that her life is more important. Getting what she wanted was critical, even when it came to a beer, for heaven's sakes. We start there, we can build from there. Go beyond the minimum. Number 3, go beyond the minimum and play for keeps. This is your life we're talking about. We're not just talking about, it's a 7-day plan, it's a this, it's a that. No, do it with all you've got. That's chutzpah. Do it with everything. Leave it all out on the dance floor. Dance like you mean it, like no one's watching, all the things. This is all the stuff. When we put that kind of energy behind what it is that we want, instead of putting so much energy over everything we don't want and all the problems, boy does the energy shift, and boy does the thing that we want get done, right? Last thing is half-assery, by the way, is super easy. It's easy. You can half-ass it anytime you want to. Just like, maybe a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But badassery, that takes practice. That means that you are showing up every single day. And that's badassery. What am I going to say about badassery? That's chutzpah. That's gumption. That's everything. You've got it in you. It's just a matter of drumming it up and showing up. When you show up for your life, you're going to start seeing something different, especially if you take chutzpah and gumption with you. Boom, boom, boom. What do you think of that? This is everything. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you for showing up today and enjoying my patio, my deck with me. Isn't it so pretty? I wish I could show you better. Let me see. That is the lake. Can you see my boat? Well, there you go. Is that better? That's the lake. Do you like it? Isn't it so pretty? And there's our boat down there. Can you see our boat? Thank you, Lily, for that. I appreciate what you just said. That makes me feel good. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.